Hello, and welcome to another story plucked from the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your sturdy host, Lothran, and I'm ever so pleased to be bringing you today's tale. So let's get right to it, shall we? Go grab a filling meal, settle into a comfortable spot, and pay precise attention to Fleet Part 9, a pleasant conversation. Is that all you really have to say? Thazon began, twisting his head to glare with silence at one of the senators that almost spoke before Kam replied. No. Finally, go ahead. Speak your mind, Kam. That's what you're here for. Thazon sighed with a bit of relief. Alright. Your fighters are shit. Your weapons are shit. Your tactics are abysmal. Your engineers are subpar. And your sensors are mediocre at best. Kam flicked through the various images he's been presented with. To be honest, I'm insulted that you'd offer me leadership of Milgram's sector forces. What you have to your name isn't worth the effort of managing it. I'll have you now! Senator Gozor stood up, starting to shout, but Thazon silenced him with a slamming fist to the counter and a silent glare. The senator suddenly thought better of his outburst and sat slowly back into his chair. Excellent. Now we're getting somewhere, Thazon commented as he poured himself a drink. Kam leaned forward, finding himself more than a little intrigued by Thazon's reply. The Empiricor had remained silent until very recently, showing almost no interest in the conversation up to this point. You like being told how ineffectual your forces are? Kam asked, watching for any hint of bluster in Thazon's features. Well, not when the statement is true, mind you, Thazon responded in the most sincere attitude. But you may have heard since your arrival 2 days ago, Kam, that Deramore is at war. I'd hardly call the ham-fisted assaults and half-hearted patrols in the Milligram sector a war, Kam retorted back at Thazon. Thazon smiled, and then Kam looked to Gozor, who was spending as much effort as possible not being the center of attention, an act he was failing at. You see, Kam, I never wanted to be at war with Milligram's sector. I would have preferred, very much so, Thazon took a mighty swig of his liquor, to offer all of them a steady and well-paying job. But the Senate rallied and outvoted me, electing someone else to oversee the seizure of those holdings. We both know how well that's gone. Thazon filled his glass back to near the top, looking very smug. If you don't consider milligrams to be a war, then where is the war, and who are your real enemy? Kam asked of the Empiricor, a man he made a mental note not to underestimate ever again. Yes, very good question. The Sildirum. Their ships are slow, but extremely well defended. Very thick armor, very impenetrable shields, and capable of immense devastation. We might be able to take them in most battles if I had the forces I planned on having, were milligrams already working for me. But you know how that plan went. Have you talked to Kath about all of this? Kam was as far forward as he could be before he asked, so he leaned back against his own instincts. This morning, she refused to put on a shirt for the entire conversation, Thazon replied, sipping at his drink. It would have been a great feat of engineering had you managed that, Kam joked. Thazon laughed. Not too hard, though. What did she say? Same as you. Everything we have is shit. Thazon was the one to lean forward. I think the both of you may be right, even if you're wrong about my numbers. Interesting. What's the real tally? Kam asked, feeling like he'd never get a grip on how intelligent and resourceful Thazon really was. You can't actually expect to divulge that! Enough, Gozor! I'm sure there are endless Senate meetings for you to run back to. The grown-ups are talking. 15 frigates of various make, none up to my current standard. 5 destroyers, all out of date and falling apart. 100 or so constantly rotating fighter squadrons, 30 or so support ships of various class, and 3 fully outfitted carriers, all of which sorely need relief at the front, and none of them are as good as the one I have here. So, you could have ended milligrams anytime you wanted. I could not. The Senate has the right to move against me, especially since they were concerned about my attachment to the region. I am not my father's son. I endeavored to find other means of protecting the Empire. And if you'll listen to my offer, at least considering what I have to say, I'm sure you'll see the reason in it. I need my own crews. I need it to be my command, not yours. Thazon remained silent, allowing Kam to say what he would. You can't actually be listening to this, Gozor demanded. Shut up, Gozor! Senator Alduir was the one to silence the other man this time. At least let the boy negotiate the start of something. It's better than the constant stream of losses you've handed us. Thank you, Alduir. Kam nodded to the senator. Milligrams blames you, though, Thazon. No matter who was behind the strike forces, you're the face and the name on their minds. I have to be in charge. Furthermore, if I'm to organize them, I need my own troops, at least a carrier and a few frigates, maybe a destroyer. I can't offer you a carrier. They're too important to the front. But I can supply you the materials to build 2 more of them. 1 for yourself and 1 more for me. And men and women. I have a couple 100 engineers, all of whom are very interested to make your acquaintance. I can also offer you, let's say, 12 squadrons of new Kozor fighters. That's what your special training was all about? Handing the engineers over to this outsider? What did you think I was doing with them, Gozor? Having a blasted picnic? Thazon shouted back. Gozor left the room in a huff. His absence wasn't missed. I'll need free rein to command without your interference, Kam stated after a period of silence. That will be more difficult. Kath told me you've never led any troops or anyone at all. I can't offer that point to you. Kam stood up, brushing off his pants and looking like he was done with the talks. I can, however, provide you with assistance in learning the ins and outs of command from a recently wounded general, one whom very much wants to prove their dedication to get back to the front, in spite of their current injuries. You can pick the personnel, manage the production, train engineers, pay the miners and traders, keep my hands and face out of the equation. You'll seem even more the hero of the sector than you already are to many. Rest assured, there are hardliners that will hate you for this. Kam swallowed, gulped a bit. He knew this was a difficult decision before he'd ever made it. If the Sildarum are as tough as you say, I doubt they'll be any kinder to milligrams after they're done with the rest of Daramore. One more thing. I'll want integration on the table for people I pick from the sector. Thazon laughed aloud. If you think you can convince the bastards, by all means. Also, I'm not going to be making devices, weapons, or ships you're used to seeing. Training people for it will likely be very difficult. Probably too much too fast. After the first few fighters have been built, and one of the larger ships is in the pipeline, you'll need to send pilots and crews my way for retraining. I haven't even begun to learn how to fly trike properly. I doubt your best will understand what's going to be required of them. Thazon laughed again, a much lighter and more amused tone. I knew from the ribbons you practically laced around my men that I was going to like you, Kam. I didn't know how much, though. That was a surprise. And so it is. Our time together, no matter how brief, has once more come to a close. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did the telling of it. As always, I've been your delighted host, Lothran, and this was Fleet Part 9, a pleasant conversation. And now, we must part ways once again. Korvoth, guide them back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothran. Oh. Thazon is a charmer, isn't he? There's work to be done, and I have to get to it. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. Don't any of you leave that awful rude or mean stuff, though. You keep all that to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. Don't forget, we strongly encourage each and every one of you to do your utmost to stay safe out there. See you again tomorrow for Fleet Part 10. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.